And I have one question for everybody, just a starter off question. Buddy, can you spare $4 billion? I didn't think so. I can't either. But I start us off that way because this thing is all about cost. Financial costs, environmental costs, costs to other projects that will go wanting around Washington and Portland. This is not about bikes versus cars or Portlanders versus Washingtonians. This is about the livability of our community. And we're going to hear, thank you. And for all the folks that have been standing up with me over the last couple months, I really appreciate it. For the folks that have told me, Metal Cowboy, you are tilting at windmills, this train has left the station, there is just too much money and power behind it, I ask you, are we standing on the Harbor Highway right now? Are we looking off to the east at the Mount Hood Freeway? They were tearing down houses and telling people back in the 70s that that was a done deal as well. So, if I'm tilting at windmills, thank you guys for knocking them down with me. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to have a lot of calls to action, things we can do. We are not blowing off steam here. We are kicking off, this is the opening salvo of a sustained campaign to offer alternatives to a $4 billion monument to 20th century thinking, a boondoggle that will rob our children and our infrastructure of much needed repairs all over. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring up some speakers, and we're going to in between offer calls to action. And before everybody leaves today, I want you to sign a postcard to our legislators, because that's how we're going to really, there's clipboards out there, that's how we're really going to make an impact here. We're handing out flyers that have every one of your legislators on it in Oregon and Washington, and you can make those calls, and you can fill out postcards. We'll mail them for you. We'll bring them down. But without further ado, I'm going to bring up Michelle Poirier from the BTA. Michelle, take it away. They've been a good, staunch supporter of this. They've stated it out. They've been courageous about it, and I want to give them a huge hand. Michelle, take it away.
Hello, and thank you for coming today. I'm Michelle Poirier, an advocate and educator with the Bicycle Transportation Alliance. The BTA, and indeed myself as a staff person, have been heavily invested in this project for 2 years now, working on the bike and pedestrian path across the river and commenting on the general project. And we were supportive of it with conditions. And recently, about 2 months ago, we realized that our conditions were just not being met. And we have now stated that we are opposed to the expansion of I-5 across the Columbia River. Now, I am hearing something from friends of mine, from colleagues, from people who work in transportation. I'm hearing a rumor. And the rumor is, this is inevitable. We can't stop it. It's going to be 12 lanes. It's too late. I think I know who started this rumor. I think that this rumor was started by people who want this bridge to be 12 lanes wide. And I reject this rumor. It is not too late. Every week that goes by, another organization, another group of people stands up and says, wait, we don't like this either. We don't want it to go this way, and we're going to do something to make it go differently. We want to get behind a great project on this corridor. Transportation investments that increase mobility between Portland and Vancouver, between Oregon and Washington, and do not degrade the quality of our communities. The BTA is ready to get behind a project like that. Show us that project, and we will show you our support. So the sun is coming out on the CRC, and we're starting to see it for what it is, and we're starting to see the possibilities of a great CRC project in the future. Thank you for your action, thank you for your enthusiasm, and please help us keep the pressure up and keep the discussion high on this issue. Thanks.
I got to be careful. The stage is not what I'd call OSHA certified. So, I want to go down in a heap. I love this. Give us the skinny on a smart bridge. Give us the skinny. That's great. And boo 12 lanes. At any rate, we're going to bring up a long-time advocate for people's rights over in Washington. I will not take any more time. Let's bring up Senator Benton, who's taken his Sunday to come out here and say a few words about his opposition to the bridge. Yeah, come on up. I'll give you a hand.
I just wasn't sure it was going to hold me, Joe. I don't know. Hey, listen, let's give Joe a big thanks for putting this thing on today. There are too many community leaders that are sitting back quietly and are hoping this thing just happens and they won't have to take a position on it. Well, I'm here to tell you we need to make community leaders take a position on this bridge, and the only people that can make them take a position on it are you. They need to hear from you, okay? They need to hear from you, and we need to tell them loud and clear, if you don't stand up and stop this boondoggle, we will replace you. That's what we need to tell them, ladies and gentlemen. This is a $4.2 billion boondoggle of your money, your taxpayers' money. And I have a particular interest because I represent the folks in Clark County. And the people in Clark County already spend $150 million a year paying Oregon state income taxes because they work over here. They don't want to have to spend another $150 million a year just to cross the river in tolls. That's what it's going to be, an average of $4 to cross over that bridge, 65,000 people, 300 days a year. If they don't come over here on weekends, they're going to spend another $150 to $200 million a year in tolls just to get back and forth to work. That's a hidden tax, ladies and gentlemen. It's not fair to the citizens of Clark County, and the people of Oregon aren't going to see that money either. It's going to be the contractors and the people that operate the bridge that are going to take that money. And that's not right. We've got to stop it. And we know it's not going to stop at $4.2 billion. Have you ever seen the government build a project that comes in on budget? Come on. It's not going to be $4.2 billion. It's going to be $5, $6 billion by the time they're done with it. And the sad thing about it is, if it would solve any of the problems, we might be able to accept it. But it's not. In fact, the Oregonian reported just the other day in their article that the commute time from Columbia Avenue, or from 405 to 405 to the SR 500, 16 minutes today, that commute time is going to increase to 21 minutes. So not only are you going to spend $4.25 billion on a project, your commute time is going to actually increase. It's not going to solve the congestion problems. They keep telling people it will, but the facts are very clear. The paper has reported the environmental impact study facts, and it's not going to solve the congestion problems. It just won't do it. The fact is, the bottleneck on fixing the bottleneck at Hayden Island Delta Park will do more to solve congestion on I-5 than any bridge they're ever going to build across the river. That's the key, is fix the bottleneck. Let's spend some time focusing on fine-tuning the commute that we have instead of pouring $4 or $5 billion into a bridge. Now get a load of this. I'm not a traffic engineer, but I've served on a transportation committee for a few years in the legislature. And I don't think you have to be a traffic engineer. I don't even think you have to serve on the transportation committee to know this. You could build a bridge that's 6 lanes, or 8 lanes, or 12 lanes. You could build a bridge with 20 lanes, but if it only meets 3 lanes on each side of the river, how's that going to solve any congestion problems? That's what I don't understand, right? That's what I call a bottleneck waiting to happen. So let's send these people back to the drawing board and tell them, look, you need a new solution. You need a different solution. You need something that works better. Maybe for some of the people here, it's another bridge somewhere else. Maybe for some of the people here, it's a better bridge that's there, but a lot less costly one. Maybe for some of the people here, it's no new bridge at all. Just fix the bottlenecks that are already in the current corridor, like the one at the Rose Corridor or the one at Terwilliger Curves. All we're doing is moving the problem on down the corridor, ladies and gentlemen. We're not fixing the problem. All right? Now, let me leave you with one last thing. There's a bill in the House Rules Committee in the state of Washington right now, Senate Bill 5540. It's passed the Senate. I tried